Have you ever stopped to consider how many people are being shaped by your life right now? Not by your title, not by a microphone, not by a formal leadership role, but by you. The way you respond, the way you speak, the way you handle stress, the way you walk through disappointment, the way you love. Welcome, friend. Today we begin a brand new series in our Thrive journey. It's called Leadership Lifestyle. We've already walked through sacred space. We've nurtured holy well. We've strengthened radiant relationships. And now we step into something that may feel a little bigger: leadership. Before you shrink back and think, I'm not the leader, I'm not the one on the platform, I didn't ask for influence, let me lovingly tell you something. You already have it. The question isn't whether you have influence. The question is, are you stewarding it intentionally? If we haven't officially met, I'm Susan Belisle. I'm a life coach for pastors' wives, and I help women in ministry overcome stress and overwhelm so they can truly thrive in life and ministry, not just survive it. I'm also the author of 40 Conversations with God Women's Devotional Series and the creator of the Empowered to Thrive course for women in ministry. Everything I teach is built around helping you live in your God-given rhythm, not someone else's expectations, so you can lead from identity, health, and wholeness. And today, we're stepping into the first foundation of leadership lifestyle. That is influence. Influence can feel complicated as a pastor's wife. Sometimes it feels invisible. Sometimes it feels heavy. Sometimes it feels scrutinized. Sometimes it feels lonely. You walk into a room and people watch. You say something casually and someone holds on to it deeply. You respond to conflict and it shapes culture. You model boundaries, joy, resilience, and other women quietly take notes. And sometimes that feels like pressure. But what if instead of seeing influence as pressure, you saw it as stewardship? Matthew 5:14-16 says, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Notice what Jesus did not say. He did not say, if you become important, if you earn a platform, if you feel confident enough. He said, you are. Influence is not about position. It's about presence. You carry spiritual atmosphere into every space you enter. Leadership lifestyle begins when you stop resisting that truth and start stewarding it. Today, we'll look at influence in 3 movements. Number 1, influence begins within. Number 2, influence flows through relationships. And number 3, influence multiplies over time. Let's start with influence begins within. The most powerful influence you will ever have is not what you say publicly. It is who you are privately, your thought life, your emotional regulation, your spiritual rhythm, your healing journey. If your soul is chaotic, your influence will feel chaotic. If your identity is insecure, your influence will feel like performance. But when you are rooted, when you know who you are as a daughter, when you are not striving for validation, your influence becomes calm, steady, safe. And safe leaders create safe cultures. This is why sacred space and holy well come before leadership lifestyle in my Empowered to Thrive course. Influence without inner wholeness creates burnout, but influence flowing from identity creates impact. Ask yourself this: am I leading from overflow or exhaustion? Am I reacting or responding? Am I trying to be impressive or faithful? You don't need to be louder. You need to be anchored. The second thing I want to share is that influence flows through relationships. It is rarely built from a stage. It is built in hallway conversations, text messages, prayer circles, connection over coffee, counseling moments, and watching how you handle disappointment. You influence culture in subtle ways. You influence how women treat each other, how conflict is handled, how newcomers feel, whether vulnerability is safe, whether grace is modeled. You may not have chosen leadership, but it chose you when you were called to ministry. And here's the key. Healthy influence is never about control. It is about modeling. You don't control behavior. You model spiritual maturity. You don't force unity. You model humility. You don't demand honor. You model respect. Influence grows when authenticity and consistency meet. Lastly, I want to share that influence multiplies over time. Legacy is built slowly. Influence is rarely dramatic. It is cumulative. Think about the people who have shaped you. It wasn't just one encounter. It was the way they prayed, the way they forgave, the way they handled suffering, the way they carried joy. Your daily faithfulness is planting seeds you may never see bloom. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap." Influence requires patience, especially when you don't feel appreciated, you're misunderstood, your efforts go unnoticed. But friend, heaven notices. And more importantly, women are watching, not to critique you, but to learn from you. You are discipling people without a curriculum. So let's make this tangible. Here are 3 reflection questions. Ask yourself this: with whom do I currently demonstrate my influence? Number 2, what kind of culture do I want my life to create? And number 3, how can I have greater influence on those around me? Now, here are 3 practical shifts you can make to deepen your influence on others. First, tend to your private life fiercely. Pray, read your Bible, and develop an intimate relationship with the Lord. Secondly, speak life intentionally over yourself. The stronger you are in your soul, the greater influence you will have on others. And lastly, refuse to lead from insecurity. Understand that you are a daughter of the King, and you walk in that influence. And one more powerful shift. Don't apologize for the influence God gave you. Steward it gently, but confidently. I want to give you a personal invitation into my ministry mentoring community. It's for those who receive my coaching services or purchase my Empowered to Thrive course or other products such as my books. Inside my coaching and community spaces, we unpack how to lead without losing yourself, how to carry influence without carrying pressure, how to build legacy without burnout. You were never meant to figure this out alone. So click on the link in the comments to learn more about my Empowered to Thrive course. I'll see you next time, friend.